Hey couples, it's Brian and Tracy. Today we're going to talk about a topic that's great for anyone out there who is trying to raise teens, because we know it can be frustrating and hard to give them constructive criticism. So today we're going to give you some tips on doing just that.
Yeah, so parents oftentimes fall in two categories. The one category is parents are giving lots of feedback, maybe not productively, and your teenager doesn't respond well to it, so you end up getting in arguments. The other camp is the parent that's like, I don't know how to present this feedback in a way that's not going to crush my teenager, so I say nothing, and you just kind of feel hopeless in finding any way to give criticism to your teenager.
So today we're going to give you 3 do's and 3 don'ts of constructive criticism with your teens. And why don't we start, Tracy, with the positive? Let's talk about the 3 do's. First of all, do be kind, but be clear. Remember that your feedback is to help them grow, not to criticize them or make them feel bad about themselves.
Yeah, constructive criticism is helpful feedback to help someone to be a better person. So feedback and constructive criticism is not meant to tear down your teenager. It shouldn't be done in a spirit of, I want to make you feel bad about what you did or what you haven't done. It's to make them better. So as parents, part of our job is to make sure that when we present our constructive criticism, that we're doing it in a kind way. We're packaging it in a message like we would want something to be packaged to us when someone has constructive criticism for us.
So do be kind and clear. And number 2, make sure to give time for your teen to process the feedback that you're giving them. See, they might not see it your way just yet, but hopefully they're going to see it your way over time. You need to be patient.
You know, this is one that's been important for me to remember, that when I give constructive criticism, especially to my son, that initially he may not want to hear it, or his reaction to it seems like he doesn't want to be bothered with that. And so I'm learning that it's better for me to give him a little bit of space, to be patient, to kind of think about it on his own, because as we know, our teenagers want to be seen as independent adults, even though they still need us to coach them. That I think it's good for us as the parents, when we give the feedback, be patient, let them chew on it a little bit, let them process it, and don't just feel like then we just have to keep hammering them because they didn't respond to us right away.
And number 3, do keep earning trust. You need to spend time with your teen, learning what makes them tick and hearing their perspective on life. And this really sets you up to have permission to give them constructive criticism when the time comes.
Right, that really is the key. That if you don't have a relationship with your teenager where they feel like you are for them, that you care about them, that you want to get to know them and the things that make them tick, then when it comes time to give constructive criticism, it's going to be easy for them to be like, why would I listen to you? You don't even know me, or you don't even have my best interest in mind. So parents, build that relationship with your teenagers, not only because it's important for many other things, but especially then when it comes to your ability to be their mentor and their coach, that they'll respond to it because they know that you love them. And when you have to give them critical feedback, that you're doing it because you want the best for them.
So those are 3 do's when it comes to constructive criticism for your teens. And now let's talk about 3 things that you should not do. These are the 3 don'ts. And first of all, don't be passive aggressive. Veiled criticism, like couching your criticism in a joke, actually only makes your teen feel worse.
Yeah, and our teenagers are too smart. They know when we're being indirect or passive aggressive or saying something as a joke, but really it's a jab. So parents, don't make the mistake of thinking, well, maybe the indirect approach will land more softly for them. No, it's better, like we said in the do's, to be kind but clear. Don't say something couched in a joke or a veiled criticism that leaves your teen kind of being like, whoa, ouch, you just said that as you laughed, but that kind of hurt what you said. That's just not going to be helpful.
The next one's pretty obvious. Don't be a nag. Constant criticism actually makes your voice quieter, not louder. They're going to start tuning you out, so you need to choose your battles.
Yeah, and again, this is one that I've had to be reminded of too, because it might be on a little thing. I want to give my kids constructive criticism on how they dress, right? Like, oh my gosh, care about what you put on when you go out in public. But I also recognize, that doesn't necessarily have to be my main focus right now. There might be some other things going on. So choosing your battles, parents, thinking about is this the right time to bring up this? Just pay attention. Don't be a nag. Don't have something critical to say always, or else our kids are just gonna be like, okay, I'm never gonna please you, so I'm gonna listen to nothing that you say.
And one more thing, don't lecture. They've probably heard your message many times before, so you need to let them own it instead of just always lecturing it to them. Maybe even let them articulate it back to you.
Yeah, so parents, don't think that repeating yourself over and over and over again is going to make them suddenly be like, oh, okay, I'm going to listen to you this time. This is just a part of that hard wrestling match of giving ownership over to our kids as they get older and our teenagers learning how to take ownership of their own lives. And it's kind of a tricky balance for sure. I wouldn't say that we found it perfectly ourselves, but don't turn into a lecturer. Don't feel like the more you say it, the more they're going to respond to it. Likely they're going to do the opposite.
Well, you already mentioned it, but it bears repeating here. Remember, this goes back to the fundamental law of parenting, that your job as a parent is to help your child take ownership for their lives in an increasing fashion as they grow into their teen and then eventually out of their teen years. You want them to own it, and so giving constructive criticism is going to be part of the process.
Parents, we can't be afraid. We are their mentors and their coaches. They need our constructive criticism. We love them. We want to set them up for success in life. So don't fall into the trap of saying, I don't know, even these tips sound too hard, I'm going to do nothing. Like, our kids need us to coach them along and to train them along. But let's just remember these tips and remember how we can approach our teenagers so that they're more receptive to the messages we have.